Greetings, my fellows. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Amazing Digital Circus. I mean, it does have nearly 300 million views in about 5 months, but not so sure you've heard of Glitch's second most popular series, which I personally think is better than Digital Circus. Yes, I just said that. It's called Murder Drones, and it's the best indie animated series I've ever seen. If you're squeamish, however, you might want to run and never look back. Let me give you some examples. Here's a quick warning. 3, 2, 1. Well, warned ya. Well, now that the weaklings are gone, we shall move on to episode 1, the pilot. Alright, so the series starts off with an exposition dump. We learn that a company known as J.C. Jensen in space made these things called worker drones. Eventually, the humans caused their own plane to blow up, which we will get to later. After this, the workers picked up right where the humans left off. Eventually, J.C. Jensen sent some more robots to the planet they were on, which is Copper 9, by the way, but these ones were different. They were what some would call murder drones. But, yeah. It's revealed that this is actually a presentation by our main protagonist, Uzi. She then proceeds to show the whole class a railgun that she made to fight off the murder drones. Pretty relatable stuff, just when you construct a railgun to fight off a bunch of genocide robots, pretty average school stuff. But, yeah. She was assigned to do a word problem on watermelons, by the way, but this is cool too. Anyway, long story short, railgun explodes, and we see 3 different characters who range in importance, We have Lizzy, I hate you, Lizzy, Doll, and Thad. And we're shown how each of them are. Well, for the most part at least. We'll get back to that later. Anyway, the next scene we see after that is Uzi getting ready to leave the bunker that they're all living in to, not die from, the murder drones. And we see one of the best characters in the show, her dad, Con Dorman. In case you couldn't tell, he really likes doors. Yeah, that's like his main thing. He's obsessed with doors for some reason. But, yeah, Uzi says that she's examining the exterior of door 1, which is conveniently the one that leads outside. How awfully convenient. But, Khan doesn't question it. He's just happy that his daughter likes doors. But, yeah. Next, we get a scene of her going to where the murder drones live, which, it's nowhere crazy or anything. It's just a spire of corpses. Anyway, then she grabs the last piece she needs to finish her railgun, the one we saw in the start of the episode, and we get our first close-up look at a murder drone. And we have a brief fight scene before Uzi blasts the murder drone with the railgun. Unfortunately, he regenerates, but he seems okay. He thinks Uzi is one of them, introduces himself as serial designation, and spoiler, he's the best character in the show. But if you already watched the show, you know that by now. Anyway, Ed notices a hole in Uzi's hand, which he caused with, there's a stain in their tails called nanite acid. It goes through pretty much anything. It puts a hole in anything. Well, it might have some limits, but those are never explored because it's a very underutilized asset. Anyway, he says the disassembly drone's saliva will help. Uzi's not one of those, and I will not elaborate on this scene because I do not want to remember it. Anyway, N tells Uzi about the other murder drones, which are V, the crazy one, and J, the abusive boss of the group. Anyway, then we get a scene which later makes N go against J.C. Jensen, in which Uzi questions what they'll do to the murder drones once their purpose is served. But soon after, Uzi has to leave, and seconds after that, we meet V and J again, and N goes after Uzi after a very awkward moment. Like, come on, even V has a flag to show how suspicious you are, N. But yeah, Uzi tries to shut the door, but to no avail. Now we got the first truly brutal kill in the show. Well, unless to count V's first kill.
No, please, stop beating my own eggshells in front of my family!
No, I feel like up to this point I should have said something to the more squeamish members of my audience to back away from this video as fast as you can. Anyway, yeah. After that, you know what? I'm just gonna add a kill count in the corner, you know, so we can keep track of the kills. I'm gonna immediately add 100 for the corpse fire, even though it's probably in the millions, but I don't want to get too crazy with it. Come on. Anyway, Khan comes in and sees Uzi, railgun in hand, a haul of dead bodies, and no end to be seen. I mean, it's pretty obvious to him from there that Uzi did something. But luckily, this misunderstanding is very brief, as N immediately comes down and pins Uzi against the wall. Khan then has the opportunity to fire the railgun right in N's face, which he decides to hide behind another one of his doors. And I love Khan as a character. He's pretty funny, you know, he's a great character in my opinion, but after this scene, I get why some people would hate him. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, even N, the genocide robot, is disappointed looking by this show of just terrible parenting on Khan's part. Seriously, you gotta do better than this, man. But soon, V and J burst through the ceiling, don't know why they couldn't do that before, and are impressed by N getting in, because they've been trying to get in for months. Again, I don't know why they didn't just come through the roof, but hey, sometimes we gotta create a few plot holes to get a better story, you know. But yeah, N is now questioning what JC Jensen is planning to do with them after, you know, their purpose is served. I wonder if that's familiar. Anyway, because of this display of you know, like questioning the company, of course, Jay tries to kill him. Yeah, she implants a virus inside of him and tries to murder him. I mean, it's not like they're called murder drones or anything, am I right? I'm not funny. But anyways, let's keep going. N proceeds to, you know, save him, you know, like, fix him up. And then they go to team up on V and J. V is just knocked offline, and again, a scene that I refuse to elaborate on because it really makes me think about the biology of murder drones. I don't want to think about that tonight, okay? But yeah. So, yeah. Jay's then blasted into next millennium by the sick as hell railgun. You know what? Whenever I mention it, I'm just gonna call it that. But yeah, they leave with Uzi clearly upset at her dad. I can't imagine why. So yeah, this was a good start to the series. There were a couple scenes I'd remove, again because I don't want to question the biology of murder drones. But yeah, aside from that, it's really good. Uzi's fun character, the concept is cool, and Jay is so precious. If they kill him off in episode 8, I swear to God! Sorry, I got a bit emotional there. I'm a big fan of N. Anyway, episode 2 is called Heartbeat, and it's probably the weakest in the series, in my opinion. Not that that's saying much, but still. Our first scene is a flashback to some mansion where N, V, and J work for the humans. We also see a young girl named Tessa and a drone named Sin. These will matter later, remember these names. Anyway, then we cut back to present day where Uzi does something that cracks a mirror. See that symbol in her eye there? Yeah, that will become very important from here on out, so remember that as well. They also contemplate Uzi's plan to head back to Earth and kill all the remaining humans, which we were told about at the very end of episode 1. I just forgot to mention it because I'm stupid. But yeah, surprised there are any left after what happened to Earth, you know. Let me just play that clip again for you. But anyway, I digress. So after this, we cut to what I'm just gonna call the episode 1 boss arena, you know, where Uzi and N teamed up to fight V and J. So there are some ongoing repairs there, and something emerges and kills one of the repair drones, which is not good, by the way. Anyway, after this, we cut to Khan meeting with Uzi's teacher, and yeah, that's a very brief interaction. And after that, we cut back to Uzi and En, who are outside for some reason when Thad, remember him, gives Uzi back her railgun, and Uzi and En are told about what happened at the episode 1 boss arena, the thing I just mentioned. Anyway, yeah, they then go back, but before we see that, we see yet another death. But yeah, after said death, we cut back to En, Uzi, and Thad. And yeah, right after a brief moment with that, where En apologizes for, assisting in a genocide, that thing you could do, we see Khan threatening to install a door on the teacher's face. And by the way, in case I ever need to bring up the teacher again, I will nickname him Jeb. So yeah, Khan is threatening to install a door on Jeb's face. And Lizzy asks Doll where her parents are before we hear Doll's first line, which I'm just going to translate into English real quick. Dead. I watched them die.
That was the joke?
Have I mentioned that I hate Lizzy yet? And then Lizzy sees some girl in the door who looks identical to her and decides to go let her in. Gee, I wonder why. I really hate you, Lizzy. But yeah, now we cut back to the group of Uzi, En, and Thad in doing investigating stuff when they discover this program known as the Absolute Solver. That's the thing that dragged off that one repairman earlier in the episode. So yeah, very important to the story. Moments later, we see Thad get dragged away. God, it should have been Lizzy. Sorry. Anyway, after this, the Absolute Solver, which I will now call Solver for convenience sake, tries to trick Uzi and En with a projection of Thad. Thad is quickly saved as Uzi and En easily see through the very obvious ploy. Boom, big fight scene, Solver is temporarily defeated, Uzi develops minor trust issues, and everyone is sad. But yeah, like I said, personally, my least favorite of the episodes, but still really good, which just goes to show the quality of the show. Anyway, on to episode 3, which is a huge improvement. So, this episode is my third favorite in the series, only recently dethroned from its number 2 spot. So, it starts with Doll hunting down one of this year's candidates for prom queen for reasons that we will get into later. And it's in a pretty standard way for this series, just chopping her arm off and then butchering her with cleavers. That's not even a joke, that's actually relatively tame for this series. But yeah, I'm sure you've seen that and you will see that later. Yeah, then we go see Doll come home from school and talk to her dead parents. Yeah. Yeah. That's gotta be an interesting way to come home. Sorry, yeah. I just stopped talking for a second. I didn't know how to fill the silence. It's getting kind of awkward. But, yeah. After this, we cut to Uzi just having a generally bad day until seeing missing person posters for the prom queen contenders that Doll is killing. So, yeah, she goes to put them on her ceiling of crazed ramblings. That's what I'm calling it, I decided. But, yeah. Apparently, Khan put all that stuff into a room labeled Nori's Kooky Insane Stuff. Nori is Uzi's dead mother, for those who don't know. But, yeah, apparently Khan found 2 classmates for Uzi to go to this year's prom with, and, guess who it is? It's Doll, one of my favorite characters, and Lizzy, who I hate with a burning passion, and I hope that she dies in episode 8. Please do that for me, Glitch. That's all I want in episode 8. But, yeah, Khan is also chaperoning this year, so, it's clear that Uzi is not happy about this. Anyway, Next we see Uzi, Doll, and the worst character going to Doll's house, in which Lizzy is bothered by the fact that Doll apparently never cleans. And then we get another one of Doll's lines. You know what? Whenever she says a line that I feel like saying, I'm just gonna say it in English. Put a sheet up. You're sleeping. But then we cut to N and V. Now it's actually a scene that I forgot to talk about earlier, but now I'm gonna talk about it. So what? N was a bit sad after last time, and V was trying to convince him to so they could, like, they both go to the prom that I mentioned, like the whole place where this is mostly taking place at, so they can go into, murder everyone, because, them murder drones, they love to commit murder. But now we cut back to them, and V just straight up decapitates N and leaves his body against the wall. Luckily N can regenerate, so it's all good. But it appears Uzi has accepted her fate and is trying to get ready, but boom, mirror cracks. And this is quite awkward for reasons, obvious reasons. But then it's revealed that Doll is hiding a dark secret. A bunch of cracked mirrors. See the implication? Well, it's basically confirmed by this point, at the beginning of the episode, but still. Anyway, yeah. TLDR, Uzi escapes, she and them meet up, they go to the prom, and then Uzi and N ships begin for obvious reasons. And a bunch of stuff is revealed. Doll murdered all those people to get V to win by default and get in the position to die. Why would she do that, you ask? Well, only because V is the one who killed Doll's parents. Dun dun dun! Big fight, Lizzy gets tossed away, thank God! More secrets revealed, Doll is eating people now, Tessa and Jay are back. But this episode was so fun. It expanded on Doll and made her one of my favorite characters. And finally we saw Lizzy get hurt in some capacity, and it was generally awesome. Anyway, time for an improvement. Cabin Fever is so freaking awesome, you guys. Basically, they all go to this place called Camp 98.7, and they are joined by N and V, who are kind of like camp guys, I guess. Uzi goes off to do investigative stuff, and once she sees how well N and V are fitting in and making friends and everything, including with Lizzy for some reason, she starts feeling insecure about the fact that N and V are fitting in perfectly and is scared of losing her friends, which is, that's kind of fair, She encounters a bug and tries to talk to M privately using it, but N completely blows it. As you can see, I'm starting to get through these quicker because the episodes are becoming more concise. So, N starts going a little cuckoo, and a brief while later, boom, she's eating people. Basically, cool action scene where she kills all the known campers except for Thad and, unfortunately, Lizzy. Then Uzi and V fight before N tosses Uzi into the air like it's nothing. By the way, some commenter found out that it was 24 kilometers up in the air, so that's impressive as hell. And they have the best emotional moment so far with N and Uzi. Then they take each other in for a beautiful little hug afterwards, like once they hit the ground. Can you hear that? Yeah, the shippers are coming. But after that they all leave. This episode was only recently dethroned as my favorite, and even at that, just barely. This here feels like Uzi's definitive episode. It's great in all aspects, and such as emotion and action and comedy and all that other stuff. Also, rest in peace, Brayden. You'll forever be missed. This episode isn't my personal favorite, but I still love it. It's great. It explores past the three murder drones that we've come to know so far, those being, of course, N.V. and Jay. They used to work for this family called the Elliots. By the way, they're the founders of J.C. Jensen in space. And we're joined by Sin. Remember when I said to remember her? Oh, you don't? See, this is why I can't rely on my audience for anything. Nah, just kidding, you guys are awesome. But she is the first and, in the best timeline, only host of Solver. Sin says something and takes the fall for it and is tortured by crows. And there he meets one particular crow possessed by Uzi, or, if we're going by her gamer tag, Dark X Wolf 17. She's trying to stop some sort of internal programming from deleting the memories that we're currently looking at. And V has been possessed because of sin and now wants to kill Jay and the human friend Tessa. Again, I said to remember her. And then Uzi grabbed the key to the basement, and because they have to go in there apparently. And N is captured by Sin. And a brief while later, Sin kills Tessa's whole family and is about to remove N's memories before Dark X Wolf 17 repossesses Sin, because she possessed a crow and then Sin, and then unpossessed Sin because of a fight with Doll, and then repossessed Sin. And by the way, I was safe because of bad internet. That thing saves us all sometimes. But seriously, a high ping can be good in some situations. It's certainly a good excuse. But I'm done talking about ping for now. Anyway, yeah. So, 1 second. Sorry. So, yeah. The thing they were fighting over was the bug from the previous episode, which is called a key bug, and the memories have been saved. And we also see Doll meeting up with Jay and Tessa, remember when they came back to Earth. And then we are teased with a reunion between them with Uzi and V. So, yeah. Not the best episode, but that's not really saying much of anything now, is it? Dead End is definitely an improvement over Home, but to be fair, Home is the second worst episode in the series. Again, not saying much, but still. But yeah, it starts with a flashback of some weird dinosaur things named Sentinels tearing through an office. And we also see one particular drone who may or may not be important to the episode later, depending on whether or not you think they are a drone from later on. Anyway, then we cut to present day with N, V, and Uzi meeting Tessa, J, and Doll. Remember, I said that was teased at the end of the previous episode? But yeah, we also hear Jay say that effective drones are cloned more, which I will bring up again later. Doll had previously given Jay and Tessa that key bug that I mentioned previously, and now stole it back and ran off. Jay stays back to watch Tessa's ship. It was, the one they landed in at the end of episode 3. And everyone else enters the Cabin Fever Labs. Yeah, Doll is looking for answers, thinking that the humans did something to her mother, Yeva. Anyway, into lab we go. After some searching for a secret elevator, we meet the episode's main threat. Well, for half of it at least. And one of my personal favorite characters, definitely one of my favorite villains, Alice. She traps the group, and we see her hacking away at the head of some poor innocent worker with an axe. We also see Bo, her lab assistant, who was helping Alice with killing drones. Eventually, they die to the Sentinels I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna go into Alice a bit. So, basically, like that worker drone that I mentioned at the beginning, yeah, I think that might actually be Alice, but she is what some would call a cannibal. She just takes parts from dead drones and either puts them onto these weird antlers she's built for herself or stores them inside of an oven. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have to say on her. I just think she's a pretty cool character, in my opinion, personally. Like, good villain, very sadistic. But yeah, during this time we also learned that there seems to only be one way to deal with Solver. They have to kill all the hosts. I think you know what that means. Ooh, I smell drama. Anyway, the group comes to a hallway with Doll being boot looped, which is something that Sentinels can do, or basically, it's like if they unplugged your internet, like you're just stuck in place. basically they make you lag. But yeah, then this leads to a fight where, but yeah, it turns out to be a trap. They need to fight a bunch of sentinels off, and V catches a bullet mid-air and sends it back at a sentinel who is using a detached murder drone arm as a gun. Yeah, she's actually pretty cool, you know. Hopefully nothing bad happens to her. Well, anyway, their way is blocked by an elevator that they try to escape in. However, those sentinels aren't as dumb as they may seem on the outside. They start raising it back up with the push of a button, so V has to cut the cables. And for this to work, she needs to be outside the elevator, both as the cables are on and as the elevator drops. I think you know what that means. Seriously, this episode was amazing. V was a great one-off villain in my opinion. No, not V. Alice was a great one-off villain in my opinion. Sorry. I should probably cut these out. Nah. Just goes to show that people are highly flawed, but we're not gonna get into any of that. We're not gonna get into anything about humanity, okay? Shut it. I'm rambling. Forget it. Anyway. This episode was amazing, and V's sacrifice at the end was the closest I got to shedding a tear this show. I mean, come on, there's no way they can improve upon it in the next... I really gotta learn when to shut up, don't I? But yeah, mass destruction starts off with scientists performing an exorcism on Nori. Remember her, you know, Uzi's dead mom. And after a while, we cut back to present day, where we see some weird ball of what looks like human organs, looking like it's ready to get some sort of job done. No, it looks like it's a miner. Nope, not that kind of miner, the other one. That's better. But yeah, then we cut to the main group, -1, and N looks very distraught. Geez, I wonder why. Yeah, his first instinct is to tear through the rock to try to save V. However, they must quickly move on. But then we have this exchange, which I'll just let play in full.
Uzi, there, might be some stuff down here that you don't want to see.
Oh, what the hell is going on?
Nothing! We don't know everything yet, but we're not gonna hurt you, okay?
Hurt me?
But yeah, that scene was just amazing. I genuinely loved that scene. Like, it shows that even though they're still good friends, they're not perfect. Anyway, enough of that emotional stuff. Let's go ahead and cut to Thad and Lizzy. Of course Lizzy's here. Lizzy is everywhere. I hate you, Lizzy. Why do I have to look at your face again? Ugh. Anyway, by the way, just so you know, I don't actually hate Lizzy this much. I'm just playing it up for the camera, right? But yeah. Anyways, let's move on from that. So yeah, they're going towards the spire and stuff, and then Jade comes out of the ship. That was in episode 6. But let's ignore all that stuff. Doesn't really matter. Well, not yet, anyways. But then we see N, who sees something else, and then we cut right to Uzi. And then, yeah, she sees what we could call some things in a church. No, it's the same place where they were doing the exorcism on her mom a few minutes ago. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on to that. Away from that. But yeah. So at some point, yeah. Then we. Sorry. Why is my brain fried? This is what contact raging can do to people, guys. But yeah, forget all that. Now we see Solver trying to manipulate N, and we get a flashback of N seeing Earth dying. And then he starts running, and then we meet that flesh ball again. Or, I don't know what it is, but guess what? It turns out that it's Nori. Dun dun dun! But yeah, after a while we see Doll and Tessa come face to face, and we see Doll standing in front of a fire, which it looks very sick as hell, and it gave me that thumbnail shot I used earlier for the prom name, you know, to introduce that segment. Why do I constantly get into rambles? What is becoming my life? Anyways, next time we see Doll is when she runs into Uzi. Right when she dies. But yeah. Then we see Tessa being uncharacteristically aggressive towards Uzi when she starts pushing a sword down Uzi's chest. Yeah, very, very good. Yes, I love the violence. But yeah, moving on from that, we find N there, ever the savior, to kill Tessa. Yeah. But then we finally see Sin fully corrupt Uzi, and we get a very cool fight scene between Uzi and Nori, where Nori is about to finally put it all to rest and kill Uzi, but N just doesn't have the heart to see his best friend die, so pushes her out of the way. Seriously. Got a heart of gold, man, but you also got a brain smaller than that raisin. Well, unless you don't. But anyways, yeah, let's move on from that. So, Uzi eventually overcomes it and kicks Nori into the abyss that opened up in the area. Like it happened, and I haven't talked about it, but yeah, she doesn't know who that was until N accidentally blurts it out while they're walking towards each other. But yeah, then we see Solver's next possessee, and their name is Tessa. Oh my god, that is horrific. But yeah, we also got a scene of Jay meeting Sad and Lizzy, and it looks like Lizzy might actually do something useful for once in her life. In episode 8, of course, we still have to wait several months for her to actually redeem herself. But hopefully that does end up happening, but hey, at least I'm happy to see more of that. But yeah, then we see whatever Solver has become start to drag Uzi and N into the abyss. And we see Uzi just toss N right out of there, grab something. I don't remember exactly what she grabbed, but she tossed it to N and left him with one final message: die mad. But yeah, then she pushed him away from out of the church and then fell down, and where she ended up is Earth, or at least what remains of it. But what happens after that remains to be seen, my friends. But yeah, pretty good episode, I'd say. You know, originally I had a script for this, but then I said, screw it. I also recorded it before, but I accidentally deleted the audio instead of saving it. This is one of the many struggles of working with this particular software, my friends. But yeah, in summary, the show is awesome. I love it. One of my personal favorite indie products to ever come out of the indie scene. And that includes games like, I probably prefer this over Undertale or Cuphead. And I love those a lot. Like, seriously, Glitch, I love what you have going. Don't screw it up. You have one more episode to go. Everything is in place. You have all the puzzle pieces exactly where they're supposed to go. Don't lose that last piece, my friends. And also, if you don't redeem Doll, I at least want you to kill her off. Seriously, just come on, do it for me, guys, please. Anyway, that's it for today, my friends. If you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and sound the notification bell. And till next time, see you around. And if I don't see you, and if I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Goodbye, my fellows.